From Chesapeake, Virginia, WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And we are live as always on this August 23rd in the summer. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene with Joe Daniel. Gutierrez producing the show, an interview show each Wednesday from 12 to 1, live right here on 1650, tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. Also invite you to watch sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Tell your friends about gjbtv.com. Twitter, at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at gjbtv, HR1linemall.com, and HRSMHOF, Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame on Twitter. Thank you to our military for what you do 24/7. Guest lineup presented by Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville. Sponsors on gjbtv.com, marketplace sponsors, and Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Guest lineup presented by Mi Casita Mexican Restaurant with two great locations in Virginia Beach. Phone line presented by the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition, October 19th through 21st. For more, log on to newportnewsgreekfestival.org, an indoor event, October 19th through the 21st. Show is presented by Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame. Of course, the passing of Jerry Lewis, may his memory be eternal. Major League Baseball in full swing, Tide season winding down. They have a losing record, of course. College football getting ready, and of course, summertime as well. Enjoy the beach weather while you can. Great weather, of course, right now, and of course, interviews, business segments, highlights, commentary, what teased me off. Thank you for making the habit to listen to Sports Scene weekly, and we love our regulars, newcomers, and tourists as well. Joe Daniel, real quick on the big fight this weekend, a boxer versus a UFC fighter. Your thoughts in about 20 seconds.
It's going to be a fun fight. I do think that, a boxer that's 49-0 right now, going against just a UFC fighter who's good with his hands. I'm going to have to side with the professional boxer on this one.
Against the leprechaun.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Sports Scene will continue live after this. Greg Bick on Twitter, GREGBIC.
Now back to Sports Scene with Greg Bicouvaris.
All right, welcome back to Sports Scene live right here on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM. It is 12:09. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us right here. For more, go to gjbtv.com. Let's welcome Marty O'Brien from the Daily Press. How are you, Marty?
Doing fine, Greg. How are you?
Always good to hear your voice, my friend. Let's get right into NASCAR sport that you cover very well. The Richmond race coming up right around the corner. These are the names that have been hot for the most part this summer. Truex, Busch, Larson, Harvick, Hamlin. Do you see any changes for the Richmond race?
No, probably not. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin have been very good at Richmond, for a long time. So you always expect them to go there. A guy that's been pretty good there, if memory serves me, has been Joey Logano, and he's going to go into Richmond surprisingly without a win, without an official win, and needing to win to get into the playoffs. He won at Richmond in the spring and had that win basically taken away from him, because of rear end, illegalities that they found in the post-race inspection. So he's going to go in there having won in the spring and needing a win in the race to make the playoffs. So I think that's going to be the biggest drama at Richmond here. And then past Richmond, you mentioned those guys, and those are all good contenders for the chase. I would say Jimmy Johnson's a guy to look out for at Richmond and in the chase as well.
We're talking to Marty O'Brien from the Daily Press. This is Sports Scene. Glad you're with us. And, of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr., always emotional when it's his last few races coming up.
Yeah, that'll be, Dale, probably be Dale Earnhardt's last chance if he doesn't win this week, to be his last chance to, or the next race rather. If he doesn't win, then he'll go into Richmond needing a win to get into the playoffs because he can't get it on points. A really big loss for NASCAR. You know, he's the most popular driver. He didn't win a championship, but he's won nearly 20 races. I think he has a couple of Daytona 500s in his pocket. But more than that, the average fan really has just related to him over the years. And on the heels of losing Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart and Carl Edwards, I think Dale Jr.'s retirement is going to be a big loss for NASCAR Cup racing, and we're all going to miss him.
That is a great point, Marty. Excellent point. You've covered it several years for the Daily Press. I've had a chance to work the spring race several times for Fox. And, of course, next spring it's going to go back to the evening. Fox has had it on the daytime the last few years. What are your thoughts about the daytime racing versus the nighttime racing? The fall generally is always in the evening.
Yeah, and up till the last couple of years, the races at least had always been scheduled for nighttime, and but there'd been a few postponements over the years that I've been covering it, and they had it during the Sunday afternoons, and it generally went well. So I think they decided to give it a shot. Attendance was diminishing at Richmond. You up until a handful of years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, they had sellouts for both Cup races at Richmond going back to the late 1980s. So they were trying to, play back a little bit to the tradition when there weren't lights at Richmond and all the races were during Sunday afternoons, and hoping that would give an attendance boost. It really didn't. The last two, the last race that they had there, they've had, I think 40 and 30,000. These are just estimates. They don't give out, attendance, specific attendance anymore. But the daytime races didn't really hit on it, the attendance boost they were looking for. So I think they're going to go back to night, and they will get a little bit of the boost there. The night races always got a little bit more than these past two day races at Richmond.
Well, the problem with the fall races are competing against college football, and that's always tough. And the NFL is right around the corner, too, as well. Talking to Marty O'Brien. Marty, I want to thank you for being a media consultant and also writing about the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame and all that you've done for media coverage on the peninsula with the Daily Press, and before that with other periodicals that you've covered. So thank you for that as well.
Sure. Good luck with the hall. I think it's a great idea, and I know there are a lot of media people that are excited about it as well.
Right. Let's talk about Langley Speedway. It's been a great year. They were idle in 2016, but they've had a lot of rainouts this year.
Yeah, and not much you can do about that. There have been some rainouts, but they've it's been a nice comeback year for them. They last year, while the operator who's now become the owner was negotiating to take over ownership of the track, they had to go dark for the season. They opened in April to a huge crowd. I think it was in the neighborhood of 7,000, and right up there with the kind of crowds that they have for the Hampton Heat, which is their big late model race of the year. And then when they had the Hampton Heat, they had the big crowd again. And generally, the crowds have been good, especially on the nights when the late models race. The late models are their premier division. There's a lot of talent there, guys that could have made it to the big time if sponsorship money wasn't the almost the only ticket there nowadays. If it were like another sport where talent got you in, and you didn't have to bring a multi-million-dollar sponsor with you. Some of the guys out at Langley Speedway, just to name a few, like Greg Edwards and Matt Waltz, who are 1 and 2 in the standings right now. Those are guys that have driven close to the big time. They've driven in the second-tier series, Xfinity. Those guys could have done it. Guys like Nick Smith and Danny Edwards and a number of others at Langley. The field is stacked in the late model division, at least 10 deep every week with really talented drivers, and the fans are responding.
Yeah, we interviewed Edwards and Waltz and Wirtz. Those are 3 excellent drivers for our Sports Highlights interview show.
Yeah, Mark Wirtz is another one of the ones I was talking about that he could have also had. He also had talent where he could have driven at a lot higher level. But again, in auto racing is so different than baseball, football, or basketball, where it's all talent is where you're drafted in. In big-time NASCAR racing, they do get some of the greatest drivers in the world up there, don't get me wrong, but there are some that never get the chance because they're not attached to a big multi-million-dollar sponsor.
Want to let you go, but we'll get you back on again in the fall talking a little football. I want to get your thoughts real quick. Your Yankees, will they make the wild card? They seem like they're playing consistent enough to make the wild card.
Yeah, I think the Yankees will make the wild card, and in high school football, I would say Hampton and Phoebus 1 and 2 in the Peninsula District, and Lafayette and Smithfield 1 and 2 in the Bay Rivers.
Marty, great job today, my friend. Always look forward to talking to you. Best of health to you and your family, and we will talk to you again in the fall.
All right, thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Marty O'Brien from the Daily Press. We'll take a short break. Sports Scene will continue at Greg Bick on Twitter, 1650, tunein.com, type in WHKT after these messages. All right, live back here on the radio, 1218, 92.5 FM, 1650 AM, tunein.com, type in WHKT to listen to your phone or your computer. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. As you know, yearly we talk to Sergeant Michelle Anaya from the Virginia State Police. We've had her on Sports Highlights. Michelle, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Let's just say every day is a dramatic day with the Virginia State Police. They always protect the people, but the last few weeks in Charlottesville and several officers have been down this year. It's been a very difficult 2017, to say the least.
To say the least, yes.
Well, let's elaborate on that. The issue in Charlottesville really was about the helicopter. It had nothing to do with the actual riot, correct?
You're going to have to repeat that. I could barely hear you.
The issue with the Charlottesville incident was the helicopter, correct? That was the issue, correct?
In Charlottesville, yeah, we had one of our state police helicopters that went down that killed 2 of our troopers.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the type of year it's been, of course, for the Virginia State Police. A lot of times the perception, like you've said it before very clearly, is not just the patrol. They full jurisdiction, whether it's a meth lab bust or a train incident or something, you guys are all over the place.
Correct. A lot of people don't understand. They think that we just work on the interstate, which is incorrect. We're not a highway patrol. We are a state police. That means we have jurisdiction over the entire state, whether it be criminal or traffic. So we do a lot more than just writing tickets on the interstate as most people see us. As you know, we have helicopter units, we have SWAT teams, we have motorcycles, canines, we have bombs, robots. I mean, you name it, and anything in law enforcement we have and we cover.
You guys were really front and center in Charlottesville. I know you know a lot of the troopers in Charlottesville, and there was some criticism from other governments about that, but until you're on the ground doing that type of chaos, it's hard to tell what you guys and gals went through.
And that's correct. I mean, our job, a lot of people hate the police, a lot of people love the police, but they need to realize, most people need to realize that this country was founded, especially with the First Amendment. So our job is to protect everybody's First Amendment rights, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, Catholic, Jew, Muslim, or whatever their religion preferences, whatever their race is. It does not matter. They have a right to the First Amendment, and we have to protect that right, whether that doesn't mean we agree with certain individuals, we agree with what they're rallying against, but unfortunately, they have the First Amendment rights, which we have to protect. And we're also there to protect those individuals that were not for the rally as well.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
we get the brutal treatment from both ends.
You're exactly right. The thing I could not understand, we're all adults here, and we were always trained and raised, if you see chaos, if you see a brawl, to walk away. I am just surprised by the adults, not the kids, but adults in Charlottesville that were attracted to this dramatic crap in Charlottesville. If you see a brawl, call the police, call 911, and stay away, because protests never end good, Michelle.
That's correct. I mean, any protest is, you're always going to have one person who has very strong beliefs and another person that is against those beliefs, and it's just conflict, and that's what makes people different in this world. And, that's where we have to come in as a mediator. Unfortunately, we're just a median. We don't take sides. A lot of people forget that. They think that we're taking sides for certain individuals. We're not taking sides on anybody's feelings or thoughts or protests. We are just there as a median to protect those protesting and protect those who are against the protest.
This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicouvaris talking to Michelle Anaya from the Virginia State Police. And Michelle, they were talking about the state police and the Charlottesville police this morning on this morning show here. Again, you guys have full jurisdiction over everybody, and you saw front and center in the city of Charlottesville. You didn't see the Charlottesville police as much as on the news you saw the state police. Did you guys get the green light to be front and center that weekend?
Well, we were there to assist all agencies. The thing is, with the state police, we have larger numbers, and we have, we're equipped for the riots and stuff like that. So we were placed in different areas along with Charlottesville PD. So we were there assisting them, but I think most people see us because we are larger numbered. Because we were there along the line with Charlottesville PD, but our patch is huge and it stands out, and most people see the state police. So I don't think there was anybody that was taking control. We were all there to provide a median for the protesters and those anti-protesting.
And this seems like it's not going to end, not just in Virginia, but throughout the country. This whole drama of statues. I mean, my goodness, they are statues, for God's sake.
Correct.
So it seems like that's just a hot button. That's something that's going to last for a long time. Well, we're about to approach another holiday, Labor Day. And, of course, as you always talk about Memorial Day or July 4th, Labor Day is also one that's a lot of awareness. Please don't drink and drive. Don't text. And I'm telling you, Michelle, I've known you for several years. Texting and driving seems like it's a very bad issue right now.
Correct. Texting and driving, we're starting to see a lot more. And, it's reckless driving once you're all over the road. A lot of people, they look like they're drunk while they're texting. They're all over the road. They may not realize it, but the people behind them realize it. Also, for the Labor Day weekend, slow down, of course. Be aware of your surroundings, and also move over for law enforcement, for the VDOT workers, for construction workers, for the record drivers. Make sure you use the move over law, move over or slow down.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, you guys cover the entire state, and Northern Virginia is a totally different animal, but just going from, let's say, the Patrick Henry Mall area through Toano, there's nonstop construction there, and there's construction zones everywhere where you really have to be proactive and be a defensive driver and keep your eyes on the road. Correct,
and with the construction that's going on, the road changes continuously. The pattern of the road changes continuously. There's a lot more items on the roadway that people need to be aware, and especially we've seen a lot of accidents where people are not paying attention, whether it's texting or some type of distraction inside their vehicle, whether it be radio, GPS, talking to the passenger, and then they end up wrecking and totaling their cars because these Jersey walls don't move. Usually the cars end up getting totaled, and it's, they said 1 minute they're looking down, next minute their car's totaled and they're in the hospital. So, we always tell people just be mindful, pay attention, know your surroundings.
It was not to mention when you're, let's say, in a motorcycle or a small car compared to an 18-wheeler on a Jersey wall, that's tough enough as it is, even during the sunlight, not to mention the evening hours.
Correct. In the evening hours, especially in that construction area over there in the Newport News, Williamsburg, it's very dark that way, and that's with this road expansion and road construction. eventually there'll be lights, but it's a huge difference at night compared to the day.
I've always been surprised by our area from Williamsburg all the way to Virginia Beach that we don't have many rest stops, because pretty much from Williamsburg all the way throughout Virginia, there's nothing but rest stops. Here, we don't have any. I know there's a lot of more exits, but I'm sure that tourists would like a rest stop. I know you have nothing to do with that, but still, I notice you notice that when you drive throughout the state, I'm sure.
Repeat that last question.
As far as the rest stops, there's not a whole lot of rest stops from Williamsburg to Virginia Beach.
No, there's actually no rest stops. I think the rest stop is on 64 at New Kent, and then the next one is up at 95 around the Emporia area. We always tell people who are out of town, to actually get off the interstate if you're looking at a map or GPS or have questions, to just get off the interstate and stop at a 7-Eleven or some type of convenience store and ask. Don't pull up behind a trooper, because you never know what that trooper traffic stop may be.
Right. I guess leave us with one more note. I guess you see something, you need to say something, correct?
Correct. See something, say something. And people can download that app. You can go to the Virginia State Police website as well.
Very good. Michelle, have a good weekend, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Great. Thank you so much, Greg. I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure, Michelle. Thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Michelle Anaya right there from the Virginia State Police, and Joe Daniel. It's important with so many people on the road that need to obey the laws, because construction is going on everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. What is that thing? That slogan, slow down for the cones or something like that? So definitely keep that in mind. Watch your surroundings. Be respectful as a driver.
Also want to thank Sakura Japanese Restaurant in Jasmine, great sushi bar open in Chesapeake. They deliver also through the Order Up app as well. Walmart Way Crossing, 1437 Sam's Drive. Give them a call at 410-4577. That's Sakura Japanese Restaurant, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner. Great Japanese food at Sakura Japanese Restaurant in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard at Walmart Way Crossing. Greg Bick on Twitter, gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Sports Scene will continue after the news. Stay tuned.
Interact with Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick. Email bicogb@hotmail.com. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studios. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com.
Thank you very much, Joe Daniel. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene. Glad you're with us on the radio on this Wednesday, August 23rd at 12:33. You can listen to us on 1650 AM, 92.5 FM, tunein.com. Listen on your phone or your computer by typing in WHKT right now to listen on your phone or your computer. We will archive the show on Twitter and Facebook, gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for commercials, archive shows, and a lot more. Panera is now the only nationwide chain that can say every item is 100% clean. They deliver. They handle large catering groups as well. Excellent rapid pickup option, soup, sandwiches, salads, breakfast, beverages, bagels, smoothies. Excellent food at Panera. For more, log on to PaneraBread.com. Give them a call at 483-3670. They're located right at 6255 College Drive in Harborview in Suffolk as well. So always like our good friends over at Panera as well. GJBTV.com. Click the YouTube link for archive shows. Visit all the pages of GJBTV.com. Question presented by Buffalo Wild Wings and Newport News to Joe Daniel. Did the eclipse a couple days ago intrigue you at all, and did it affect your day with you and your family throughout the day?
It intrigued me. I always think I love space. I love learning about outer space. I think it's fascinating. So it definitely intrigued me, but it did not impact my day, I don't think, at all. My kids had to go to school. It impacted their day. They weren't able to play outside because of the eclipse. But for me, it really didn't do anything for me personally, spiritually, or anything. I thought it was just a really cool, unique experience. And that's pretty much it.
It did intrigue me, but I'll say this. I value my eyesight way too much.
You got to go to 7-Eleven, get those glasses.
Yeah, but let's just say a doctor or an ophthalmologist said, guess what? Because they're always going to give you the Debbie Downer side. Those glasses weren't ideal to look up at anything. Although there were some people that looked at it without glasses.
Trump.
You got to wonder. Yes, exactly. I think he's been looking at the sun too much lately to begin with it. All right, save the date. We'll be back next Wednesday for Sports Scene from 12 to 1. The only remaining show, Front Red Zebra Broadcasting in Virginia Beach. Hampton Roads Online Mall.com tourists. Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Browse, shop, visit, bookmark it. Locals and tourists love it. Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Do we have our next guest on? All right, let's welcome Ian Locke, our weekly segment from the Norfolk Tides Media Relations Director. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Greg. How are you?
Good weather so far. Y'all started off strong yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, it was one of those weird games where Harbor Park doesn't give up a whole lot of runs, and we were up 5-1 after 3 innings, and we thought, hey, all right, we got Tyler Wilson on the mound, who'd been pitching great, our bullpen's been pitching well, and just like that for the last 2 nights. Fifth inning has come back to bite us. Charlotte batted around, scored 6 runs, and just like that, we were down and lost a close one last night. But we've been playing a whole lot better. We've just lost a couple close games here the last week or so to drop us back from what we were doing.
Yeah, the record's 59-70, but still the team has played very well since the All-Star break, especially. And you've had a lot of pitchers that have gone up to Baltimore, including this week.
Yeah, we've had I think 22 different players that have played for both the Orioles and Tides this year. So if you have ever come down to a ballpark and watch the Tides game, the odds are you're going to see someone who's been up and down. Earlier this week, Alec Asher, one of our pitchers, was named the International League Pitcher of the Week, and we couldn't really present him with the award because he was called up to Baltimore, up with the Orioles. So it happens a lot. I think we've had 14 different pitchers that have been called up already this year, and with September 1st, when the rosters expand, coming right around the corner, we're going to have a lot more guys headed up there. So it's we have 2 weeks left of games here, and it's kind of your last chance to see the Tides this summer before you see these guys going up to Baltimore for the stretch run.
Right, just a few more home games left. That's it. And of course, you and Joe will always be working on new things for next year, correct?
Absolutely. We're going we got our schedule. I think we're going to release next year's schedule at some point next week. But we're already kind of kicking around ideas for some theme nights and when Star Wars night going to be and where are the fireworks going to be, and it's a fall discussion that we all have here, and that way we can hit the ground running when the first of the year comes, when we can have our promotion schedule and get going for the 2018 season.
Well, let's talk about yourself real quick before we talk about the staff. You like it down here. You grew up, of course, in New York, and talk about the quality of life and how you like working for the Tides.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I grew up, for those who don't know, in upstate New York, in the Albany area, and moved down. I did an internship in Charlotte for a year or two, and then got the job here with the Tides in 2004, and I've pretty much been here ever since. And it's a lot of hours, as anyone who works here will attest. I mean, we're generally here on a game day for a 7:05 game. We're here at about 9:30 in the morning through 7:05 game, and then I leave here about 11 p.m. or so, depending on the time of the game. So it's a long day, but at the same time, my office window is a baseball field. I can go upstairs and watch batting practice and kind of be outside, and I get to watch baseball and write about it for a living, which ain't all that bad. And plus the area, the weather's great. It snows 364 days a year in New York, it feels like. So being down here in Hampton Roads, it's definitely a second home for me, and I love the area and love working with the Tides.
Right, AAA, and really it's the only game in town in the spring and the summer. Talking to Ian Locke, Media Relations Director of the Tides. Let's talk about the staff from Joe on down.
Yeah, so we have, for those who don't know, we have about 15 to 20 full-time staff. Joe Gregory is our general manager. He's kind of oversees the day-to-day operations of everything. Ben Giancola is our assistant general manager, and Ben handles a lot of our sales and promotions and marketing. Then we have a bunch of different people from, you've obviously met Heather McKeating, who does a great job in our community relations. She's been here longer than I have. She handles, visits with players and mascots to local schools and Little League functions, and she kind of handles all our junior Tides events here at the stadium, that, the little kids that take the field pregame for the national anthem, the, Field of Dreams teams. She handles that, and she does a fantastic job. And we have Gretchen Todd and C. Fong, who work in our ticket office. A lot of our season ticket holders will know those guys. They handle season tickets all year and sell stuff at the box office. And our stadium operations department and our grounds crew, from Mike Zeman and Mike Cardwell to Kenny Magner and Justin Hall, and our grounds crew, it's tough. I mean, Kenny and Justin especially are out there, and both Mikes are out there all day in the sun working on stuff. Something breaks around the stadium. This is the 25th year of the park, and some stuff, stuff breaks from time to time. They got to fix it and make sure that every night when gates open at 6 o'clock, the park is ready to go and looks presentable. And they put in a lot of hours and a lot of effort around here to make sure that when the fans come into the ballpark, the ballpark looks nice and the field looks nice, and we can play ball.
Talking to Ian Locke, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene. Go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link on the homepage for archive shows, including this one later tonight as well. Just a few more home games left, like you mentioned, of course, and I guess they're looking for the ending the season on the road.
Yeah, we have 6 home games left counting tonight. So we're home tonight at 7:05, and then we wrap up our homestand tomorrow at 12:05. That is Game 9 and Game 10 of a 10-game homestand. So we're a little exhausted here as a staff, but we go on the road for a quick 4-game trip, and then we end up our home schedule Monday through Thursday next week. We have Monday night, 7:05. We actually, for Game of Thrones fans out there, we have Christian Nairn, who's better known as Hodor from Game of Thrones. He'll be here signing autographs, taking pictures with fans on the concourse. So that's a pretty cool thing. The guy's 6'11", native of Northern Ireland, so
wow.
Really big guy, and should be a fun night at the park on Monday. And then Wednesday and Thursday are our last 2 home games next week. Wednesday is our popular fan appreciation night, where we give a bunch of prizes out to fans throughout the evening and follow it up with post-game fireworks. And then Thursday, August 31st, is our last home game of the year. We'll be presenting fans with a team photo of this year's team, also a schedule for next year on the back of that team photo, and we'll also have post-game fireworks as well. So a couple last chances to see the Tides and fireworks this year before we pack up business and start planning for 2018.
Right. Let me ask you, you guys have tweaked the game times over the years. They even had some earlier times during the weekdays, during the 6 o'clock hour. It's pretty much 7:05 now. What goes into that thinking? Is that the IL? Who makes that decision?
Yeah, each team is in charge of making their own game times. We do, at the beginning of the year, we do 6:35 games on Monday through Thursday in April and May, mostly because kids are still in school. And the weather's kind of colder, so it's one of those things where we can play a little earlier, get out of here at games ending about 8:30, as opposed to 9 o'clock or so. That extra half hour kind of helps just with families and kids to get to bed sooner and get back home. We do 12 o'clock day games throughout the year. Those are during the week. So like tomorrow is our last 12:05 game. Those are great for business people who are in downtown Norfolk can come down and grab a long lunch and catch the ball game during the week. And then the first half of the year, we do 1:05 Sunday games. That's early on in the year because it's sunny and nice. And the second half of the year, we do 4:05 on Sundays. So starting in July, and then we had 5 of them this year, July and August, where we play at 4:05 on Sundays. And that's just because we don't want to play in the middle of July and August under the boiling hot sun if we can help it. We still want to play a day game on Sunday because the teams that we're playing and also the Tides usually use those as getaway days where they need to travel to the next city. So we try and play a little earlier, but we don't want to play under the sun. We know it is really hot in the summertime here in July and August, so we do our best to avoid playing in the direct sunlight whenever we can.
Well, of course, the eclipse, the other day, too. Did that affect you guys at all?
It was cool. It was, it's one of those things where you don't see it for, who knows, 70-something years or whatever it was. But our players got a kick out of it. Our guys all came out there, and, of course, there was 25, 30 players and, 15, 20 office members, and we were kind of milling around the field, and not one person had the protective glasses that we should have had. But we improvised. We put about 10 pairs of sunglasses stacked on top of each other. And when you looked through those, you could see the eclipse pretty cool. So everyone was kind of sharing in the moment on Monday afternoon, and it was cool. These players, it was kind of a little break from the monotony of a daily grind of get to the ballpark, take a batting practice, play a game, repeat. This was something different. The players kind of went out there, and definitely the temperature got a little cooler and it got a little darker out there, and everyone had fun looking at it, and it was kind of messing around with the eclipse. So cool moment, and it was fun to share it with all the guys. And connect on social media like always. Yep, absolutely. People can follow us. They can check out our complete promotion schedule at norfolktides.com, and they can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram, which is at Norfolk Tides. and you can follow us on YouTube as well. Where we post highlights of every single one of our home games, a 3 to 4 minute highlight montage of what happened every night.
Now, what time does the game start tonight?
We have a 7:05 game tonight, and if you could have all your listeners pray for no rain, hopefully the forecast holds up and we get to play tonight. 7:05 tonight, and then 12:05 tomorrow.
Very good. We will talk to you next week, my friend.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Ian Locke right there from the Norfolk Tides Media Relations Director, also board member of the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame as well. Sports Scene will continue after this. All right, SmithfieldVAEvents.com. Our next guest, Gina Ippolito. I want to thank so far Marty O'Brien from the Daily Press, Michelle Anaya from the Virginia State Police, and, of course, Ian Locke from the Norfolk Tides. How are you, Gina?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. It's August. Summer is winding down. I still love my beach, but, of course, you guys have a big event coming up in a few months.
We do. It is October 7th, which, I mean, crazy as it sounds, we'll be here before we know it. It is the Bacon Bourbon Beach Music Festival in Smithfield, Virginia at Windsor Castle Park.
Well, let's talk about it. It's been around for several years now. You had one rain-out year, but for the most part, it's been consistent the last several years.
Yes, this is our fourth year, and yes, in 2015, we ended up having to cancel this event because there was like a hurricane off the coast and a big northeastern and 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it was pretty nasty. But we've got lots of experience cooking bacon. In fact, we will cook 2,400 pounds of bacon for this event this year. So that's a lot of bacon to cook.
Sure is. And one thing about October, you really never know. I remember one year the weather was really hot, but it can also be cool. So October is kind of a random month.
Yeah, it really is. Last year, I think it was about 83 degrees, and the sun was out, and people actually went home with a little bit of sunburn. And we've had other times that it's been in the high 60s or low 70s and been a typical fall day. So you just never know. You just never know what the weather's going to do around here.
Lunchtime, like both locations of CP Shuckers on Facebook. Log on to cpshuckers.com as we're talking to Gina Ippolito from SmithfieldVAEvents.com. And really, you have 3 nice events throughout the year.
We do. This is just one of the 3 festivals we do. This one is, again, bacon, bourbon, and beach music. We do one in January, the Saturday of Martin Luther King weekend, that we fondly call the Bob Festival, and Bob stands for Bloody Marys, Oysters, Brunswick Stew, Barbecue. That one is a little bit different. It's all done under 45,000 square feet of heated tent space. The DeLoreans are the band. It's a great, January afternoon festival. And then in April, we do a wine and brew fest that is back on the regular site next to the river at Windsor Castle Park. So those are the 3 events that we do. We do them to raise money for local organizations. We donate about $180,000 a year between the 3 events back to our community. And they're nice events. They're not huge. We only do about 3,000 people at each one. And so they're kind of boutique style, and that fits very nicely with Smithfield itself. So they're very popular. Tickets sell out usually very quickly. This event, Bacon Bourbon, has a handful, believe it or not, tickets left. I think there's about 30 tickets left, and you can still purchase those online. I've got a handful of some sponsorships left, and we'll be wrapping all that up. I anticipate it all to be gone and sold probably by the first part of next week. So if you're planning on coming, I wouldn't wait too long to get your ticket.
Yeah, tickets go by quick for all of your events.
They do. Normally they sell out really quickly, usually the day that we put them on sale. It's been a little unusual that we did 2 releases of tickets on this event. The first day sold out in about 15 minutes, and then the second event day hasn't sold out yet, but it slowly is ticking away, and there's not very many left. So if you're interested in getting tickets for this event, if you go to our website, actually to get to any of the events, is SmithfieldVAEvents.com, and then you can just click on the logo for the event you're interested in. So if you're trying to get tickets for the Bacon Fest, you can click on the bacon. Of course, it's kind of highlighted on our homepage just because it's the next upcoming event. And it'll direct you to the page where you can, buy your ticket. And everybody gets a half a pound of bacon, and then you can take it, which is about 8 thick Smithfield bacon slices. And you can either eat it hot off the grill, or you can take it into the bacon condiment tent and dress it up. We've got stuff in there to turn it into a BLT wrap or nachos. We've got sauces and seasonings you can shake on it. We've got chocolate. There's some caramel. You can do all kinds of things to your bacon if you want to.
All right, SmithfieldVAEvents.com. Give us the date one more time.
It's October 7th. It is at Windsor Castle Park in downtown Smithfield, and it's from 11 to 5. And, again, the website is SmithfieldVAEvents.com.
And, of course, something for everyone, adults only, and kind of like a locals event. The tourists are pretty much gone by then, too.
Well, believe it or not, I mean, it's as far as daytime tourists, no. I mean, yeah, we actually have a lot of tourists in the fall here in Smithfield, but
Sure.
about 65% of the crowd is non-local. It comes from the other cities in coastal Virginia, from Williamsburg down to Virginia Beach, and then we actually have about a 6% attendance from totally out of the area. We actually draw people from Richmond and Charlottesville, and Stanton has a group of people that come out here to almost all of our events. A lot of those guys stay in one of our local hotels and either walk to the festival, or we do provide free shuttles from our local hotels. So some people just make a weekend of it and spend it in downtown Smithfield, which is a great thing to do also. So it's a lot of fun.
All right,
and we hope to see you out here this year, Greg.
Of course. I've been there several times. I love it. And, of course, I know you had a birthday recently. Happy birthday as well. And
thank you very much.
30 and holding, right?
Yeah.
30 and holding?
Yeah, 30 and holding again.
Very good. Very good. All right, well, all the best. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, Gina. We'll talk to you next month.
All right, thanks, Greg.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, I also want to thank our good friends at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News at Patrick Henry Mall. The address is 12150 Jefferson Avenue. Delicious lunch and dinner 7 days a week, late night, wall-to-wall TVs to watch all the NFL action, Major League Baseball, premium sporting events at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Excellent house samplers, street tacos, mozzarella sticks, boneless traditional wings with all the great sauces you like wild blazing salt vinegar, spicy garlic, honey barbecue. They've got it all. Excellent salads, burgers, including the cheese curd bacon burger, wraps and sandwiches. You take your option, you take your picks, tenders and macks, drinks, beverages, desserts for the kids as well. And of course, they always give back to the community and charity at Buffalo Wild Wings in Newport News. Phone number 249-3999 as well. Buffalo Wild Wings, big in the Newport News community next to Patrick Henry Mall. Wings, beer, sports. Let's get to What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com.
And one more sponsor, Outback Steakhouse in Kempsville at 1255 Fordham Drive in Virginia Beach. Go by and see Mike and the great staff. Wi-Fi is available there. Phone number is 523-4832. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week with great bloomin' onion, soup, sides, and salads as well. Excellent burgers and signature steaks, freshly made potatoes and sides. Yum, yum, yum. You got to get some food at Outback Steakhouse in Virginia Beach. In Kempsville, chicken, ribs, chops, and more, seafood, desserts, as well, curbside takeaway, and dine rewards. All at Outback Steakhouse, 1255 Fordham Drive in Kempsville. Mike will take care of you in the great, spacious dining room as well. Outback Steakhouse. What tees me off, Joe Daniel? A lot of things tee me off, but how about this? How about this? The one thing, really, the broken promises, never good.
Oh yeah. Your word is your bond, is your name. And so if you say you're gonna do something or not do something, always maintain that, hold that. A handshake used to mean something.
Yeah, I mean, what is
now? It's not. If it's not in writing, it never happened. Well, I mean, trust somebody's word. That's the way it should be.
Yeah, a handshake in your word. I like Ocean Breeze. I really like the Ocean Breeze Park in Virginia Beach. Nice place. I usually attend yearly. But their theme song is not so good. You know this. We both do a lot of commercials. Not so good. It's kind of corny. Sometimes better with no song or jingle.
I don't know. I mean, if you're absolutely marketing, some of the best jingles are some of the worst jingles. Right. Those are the ones that get stuck in your head, and that's exactly what you want as a business owner. You got to come up with not necessarily like a good song, but something that'll just get stuck in your head.
You mentioned about the handshakes and so forth. When some people still in this technological age we live in don't communicate by email, they don't text, they rely on just a phone call and a message.
A fax machine, maybe?
Or something or a landline.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
that could be awkward.
Technology, I don't know. I mean, everybody has their own personal reasons to not use technology. I just think for me, it's just super convenient, and it just helps out so much of just to send out a quick message as opposed to just trying to just call a landline, because there's obviously so many variables there. If you can't get a hold of somebody, the only place you can try is their home.
Right. This is what teased me off. Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us. Greg Bick on Twitter, GregBic. Dropping something on the floor, this happens to everybody, and it mysteriously disappears.
I think I got one on top of that. It instantly puts me in a rage. When I drop something, I go to pick it up, and it immediately slips out of my hand as I bring it up. That puts me into a range. A spring pops in my brain when that happens, and I just lose it. That's the worst thing.
A loud noise of any type.
Yeah, it's a certain frequency.
Yeah.
It's not even just like the loudness of it, but it's just the pitch that it resonates.
You're exactly right, my friend. It's almost like those horror movies. We got Halloween coming up in a couple months. That screeching voice that can penetrate walls.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It shatters glass.
All right. The eclipse. Okay, I get it. It's great for science, but not so great if you don't have the proper glasses.
Yeah, never look at the sun for any reason. Never look at the sun. And I don't know. I've never tried those 7-Eleven shaded glasses. I don't know how expensive they are, how well they work, if they've been approved by NASA or anything. But still, even with those glasses, I'd be super skeptical to look directly into the sun.
Again, of course, the big trade, the NBA as well. Isaiah Thomas going to Cleveland. I'm going to say this about Isaiah Thomas. Great person. Had some family issues as well. We understand that. He's a ball hog. He's not going to work well with LeBron James. He never passes the ball. The Celtics got a great player in Irving. He might not pass as much either, but he's not a ball hog like Isaiah Thomas. I'd see that as a bad situation with LeBron. He's a type A personality, and I just don't see that working at all. That's just my take. Also see that Mayweather will win. Again, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Mayweather, I mean, he's a boxer, 49-0 against McGregor. I just don't see McGregor pulling out on top. That's just my thing. I mean, maybe. I know that McGregor has a really, really good left hand, and that may come out and actually hit really good and connect the way it's supposed to. But at the same time, I don't know, Mayweather's only been connected just a handful of times in all his careers.
All right. For more, log on to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. You can see all my Twitter handles on gjbtv.com. This show is powered by the Hampton Roads Sports Media Hall of Fame, as well as Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. That's Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Don't forget, Stratford Today starts September 13th from 1 to 2 right here on Sports Scene after the show as well. Stratford Today from 1 to 2 after Sports Scene on September 13th, 2 days after yours truly's birthday as well. I want to thank our guests today, Marty O'Brien, Michelle Anaya, Ian Locke, and Gina Ippolito. For Joe Daniel, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 92.5 FM W223CT Norfolk. For your daily supply of news and talk, we are The Answer.